We're live.
No.
Here's the intro. This is a pre-recorded in a live studio audience.
Oh, God. That's it.
That's it. All right. We're live from the Boogie Barn.
Oh, fuck.
And we're going to do a 2019 review of the year because it was a pretty good year for the both of us. It's just me
The both of us.
and the self-proclaimed pussy master, as you call yourself.
No, I don't think so.
Yes.
That's
And good
Honey
old Honey Bun. What do you got to say, Honey Bun, huh?
She
So-
won't say nothing.
This is what we can do. I'm excited because we're finally here we're casting a pod.
Casting pods.
Just like I synced it in my mind. At the Boogie Barn. And so listen, dude. I'll start with a joke that I heard today.
Yeah,
Which is fucked up because the fact that I'm telling this joke is fucked up because I heard it on another podcast. So this is a total ripoff.
good.
A very popular podcast, mind you.
They deserve it.
And but it's such a good joke. I hope I don't fuck it up. So it's like this. And this isn't my personal joke. I didn't come up with this. So you're not allowed to get it. No one's allowed to be offended. All right. Let me tell it as I remember it. So, as you know, I moved into my new apartment the other day, right? And I'm meeting the neighbor, and I'm walking my dog. You know, he's got to take a poop. I'm outside walking my dog, and I see one of this guy who lives near me. He's got glasses on. He looks like studious and shit. And I'm like, well, I had to meet the neighbors. So I go up to him. I'm like, hey, I'm Jed. You know, I live in the apartment BX or whatever. And he's like, hi, I'm Frank. You know, and he's like, what do you do? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what do you do? He goes, I'm a professor down at the old college there. And I'm like, oh, professor in what? And he goes, I'm a professor in logic. And I'm like, what? I'm like, what is that? Logic. And he goes, it's hard to explain. It'd be easier for me to show you. And I say, okay. And he says, do you have a doghouse? And I go, wait, rewind. Start this over. So I'm on the phone, right? And I'm meeting my neighbors. I need to know my neighbors. So the landlord gives me the numbers and he goes, call Fred. He's smart. He's someone you should know. He's your neighbor. So as I say, okay, I call him. I say, hey, Fred, I'm sorry. This is Jed. You know, I'm moving in. I'm supposed to get to know the neighbors. Weird or whatever. And he goes, oh, hey, Jed, I'm Fred. I'm a professor of logic down at the old college. And he goes, and so I go, professor of logic? What the fuck is that? And he goes, I can't explain it to you. It's easier for me to show you. And I go, all right, show me. He goes, now, Jed, do you have a doghouse? And I go, yeah, funny you mention, I do have a doghouse. And he goes, well, logic states that you must have a dog. And I said, well, that's right, I got a dog. And he goes, well, if you have a dog in a doghouse, then you must have children? You got children, a family? I said, well, gosh darn it, Fred, you're right. He said, logic states you'd have children. We keep the dog in the doghouse. I said, okay. Wow, he's pretty good, this guy. And then he goes, you got children, you must be married to a woman, Jed. Now, logic would state you're married to a woman.
Dude, where you going
And
with
I says, gosh damn it, Fred, you're right, I am married to a woman. And he said,
You got me pegged,
and
Fred.
he goes, well, then logic would state that you're a white, straight male. I don't know what came up with white, probably my voice. He goes, logically, yes. White, straight male. And I said, hot damn it, Fred, you're right. I couldn't believe it, and so, you know, I met Fred. Next day, I'm down at the old post office, and my buddy Carl comes up to me, and he's shooting his shit, and he says, you know, oh, you're moving in. You met any of the neighbors? I said, funny you mention, I did. I met Fred. He's a professor of logic. And Carl goes, what's that? And I go, it's it's easier for me to show you. It's hard to explain. It's easier for me to show you. Carl says, all right. And I go, you got a doghouse? And Carl says, no. And I go, you must be a faggot then.
That's it.
That joke is, I said it totally wrong, but that's how it is. That's how it goes. And it's not me who came up with that joke. I love all walks of life. And I don't, but logic would dictate. Yeah, apparently if you don't have a doghouse, then you're queer. But maybe I shouldn't have told that joke to start this off, because we're just going to review the year 2019, which just so happened to be a stellar year for Adam.
Fantastic year.
He got a nickname. Golden Hands is where it came from. All right, and we'll get into. Yeah, it was.
I didn't choose it.
No, of course not. And so let's get into it though. So let's start. Year 2019. We'll go back a year, January. We don't have to get into details. We're gonna change names.
Yeah, we probably should.
All right, so we're both single. We just both happen to be single. I'd come off of a long run relationship. Adam had just come off of a relationship random relationship. But before that, a 4-year run with Susan, her name was?
No, that one was Chelsea, yeah.
Okay. That was with a girl named Chelsea. And, so when I came in, I thought Adam was single. And so we have a tight little group of like friends who are kind of sane. I suppose I guess we're not sane.
No, not at all.
Definitely not
sane.
But so one of the workers there, a higher up, shall we say, was also single, and I thought, well, I might as well ruffle some feathers here. And I thought, they're in the same age
That's
group.
Your favorite thing to do is ruffle.
Yeah, like
stir the
first
pot.
day back, mind you.
Yeah.
I get hired back after quitting thrice times. And the first thing I do, I said, what's important here? I said, let's get these two kids together.
Let's get them hitched.
Let's get them at least boffing each other. And so I thought, so I go up to Adam. Well, I didn't really do it to you, but I went up to, what's the manager's name? Jane. Is her name Jane? Or what is it?
Jane
Doe. Janathan Doe. I go up to her and I say, Jane, Adam's single. You're single. You guys ought to get together. I thought it would be a good idea. And I also I had seen what was going on beforehand, and I thought this was something that was could probably be, if it wasn't happening, I was going to make it happen. And then she looked at me like, didn't say a fucking word, and gave me crazy eyes, and I was like, what? This is like friend people, your work buddies. And so it was really weird, awkward shit. And I thought, something's afoot here. And then I and you had told me, you won't believe the drama. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? And
I don't think I said drama. I think I said it's been bonkers.
You're like a shit show. It's a shit.
And you
wouldn't tell me why. It was so strange. I was like, what do you mean? You're like, you'll see. And I'm like, what? You're sitting in the office, legs up, crossed.
Legs up.
I visited you like 4 times.
I hadn't done a thing all day.
Every time I saw you, you're leaning back like this. And I'm like, what do you do now? And you're like, I don't do nothing. Like going over something. You're like, I got to get this paperwork done.
I got to print the maps for the next year.
I leave and come back, and all of us were all 03s. And I come back, and Adam's in charge of the whole building. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I was only gone for a year and a half. Not only that, not only was he a head, I'm not even going to say the position. He was, gone from a temp, just like me, basically,
they call it
to the head chef.
Top cock.
Top cock. And he's walking around, and he's like, all I do is sit in air condition. And I was like, okay. And even Raf was like when I go see Raf, he's like, I'm like, Adam's just sitting in the office. He's like, he doesn't do shit anymore. He don't do shit anymore. Not only did he do that, I know, of course, my luck. I leave Adam
and then he comes in.
Dude, if either of you guys were working that day, I would never have walked.
Dude,
I wouldn't have walked if you were there. I'm
You
like,
should've
I can't
told me.
walk while he's head cook here today.
You should have told me.
You weren't there.
Yeah, you should
I'm
have
like,
told me anyway.
nobody's here. I'm leaving.
Cameron fucking told me.
I'm working with this fucking kid who set himself on fire twice, started to fight with the biggest black kid on the football team. And this is how the fight started. We're doing fucking pasta prano. You're supposed to just shut up and make their pasta. They're students. It's the
Cook it.
age
Cook
of
the pasta.
PC. And he says to this massive linebacker, big dreads, nice as pie. This kid's here all the time, gets the same pasta, never causes a problem. He goes, whoa, don't come at me, bro. This is picture yourself in a food line at a nice hotel or at a university, and there's like omelets or pasta, and they're cooking for you, and the cook says to you, don't come at me, bro. I was
really wish
mortified.
I wish
dude.
I was there.
And the kid goes, what? The kid was like, what? And he goes, you heard me, don't come at me, bro. And I was like, oh my God, what's... And this kid looks at his friends, he's like, what's happening? Looks at me, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. And then I was like, dude, it's 7 o'clock. You can go on break. He's like, yeah, I better. I was like, wow. If you were there, he probably would have had to at least lost his job or something that night.
I would have definitely made him leave.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like,
Meanwhile, he's doing this with a burnt apron that he set on fire twice. His
how?
station looks like he
I didn't
just
know the
threw
apron was on
everything.
fire.
His
Shit.
fucking pan was coated in black. It was a disgrace. He's a disgrace. And I'm like, dude, I'm so sorry for that person.
Dude, you know he wanted to be a head cook? He applied to be
Are you
head cook.
Oh, at first?
Yeah. I saw Chef Pete interviewing him.
I saw Chef Pete, that's right. Chef Pete interviewed him. I wonder how that went.
I don't know, but
The
I
kid's
saw it.
a fucking spaz. As soon as his first day, I'm like, he's on a drug for sure. He's on a study drug, absolutely 100%. And then I confirmed that. I can't keep my mouth shut. While we're pasta prano, like in our interim, I'm like, so, yeah, what are you doing? How are you staying awake lately? I just knew it because he was like this, like.
Dude,
I can fucking spot it. And he's just a messy guy.
Dude, he walked into the office one day. I was sitting feet up, like usual, and literally not doing anything.
Yeah.
And he comes in, he's like, hey, like wide-eyed. Like, I remember specifically
His
wide-eyed.
first week, he was super wide-eyed.
And I'm like, what are you doing? Like,
Which you hate. You're just like, you can't.
why are you not working?
Yeah.
I'm the only one that
Yeah.
cannot work.
What did he say to you?
He was like, hey, I just was asking about Thanksgiving break or something. I'm like...
And you're like, why are you asking about breaks?
I was
dude?
like, you're a student. Why are you talking to me?
Why? Oh
Like,
my God. Thanksgiving break. What did you say? We're closed.
Yeah, I did. I'm
We're
like, we're
closed.
closed. It's cleaning. Like,
Ugh.
I don't know.
First of all, his first day, there is a thing, and you have it too. I know you feel this way. If it's your first day, shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. Come to work. Never ask for a ride or a cigarette. And he asked for both.
Oh my God. I don't know if I even told you the fucking story.
You did.
Did I?
Yeah. First day.
Okay.
Ask for a ride smoking a butt outside or like anybody. Dude, that's like
The manager.
101.
Did I tell you that?
He asked Heather for a ride?
He asked her for a fucking
Oh my
ride.
God.
No, get this. So she was like leaving for the day,
Yeah.
and he asked standing outside, asked for a ride.
For everyone?
This is
or
what she
just
told me. No,
waited
for her. Like, just...
Yo,
and
can I get a
ride? And she's
Yeah.
like, where you... Oh, sure, where you going?
She must have been like,
And
what?
then got in the car and just uptown a little bit.
She gave him a
She's
ride.
like, where are you going? And he's like, oh, I just need to get cigarettes.
Wow,
She's like,
dude.
You're still working, right? And like,
Wait, what?
it was the middle of his fucking shift.
Oh my God, dude. Wow.
Middle of his
He probably
shift.
didn't even know she was...
No, dude, I don't know.
Or he
I don't
didn't
know who would
care?
ever do that. But the last I heard was that she said, get out of the car and go back to work.
Oh, really? Yeah, so you immediately hated his guts. I know you
He
did.
did. He started off on the wrong foot.
Wrong foot. And I know it sounds weird, but if you're not in like if you've never cooked at a restaurant, do not do that. Your first day, just shut the fuck up. At a building like that, like, keep quiet, keep your head down, and just do what people tell you to do, and don't smoke butts. And if you do, like, hide it. But anyways.
He was erased immediately.
Yeah, erased. Fucking erased him. So then